What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about others? What do you believe about your life and your environment? These things are real important. Your beliefs about all of that drive your behavior because it affects your thinking, your feeling, and so then your behavior. If you believe you can't, you can't. If you believe you can, you can. That sounds real simple, but it's not always that simple. Our beliefs are formed early on in our upbringing, then our experiences, what other people tell us. Maybe you were raised in the church and some hellfire and damnation preacher made you believe you were going to hell if you didn't act right. So those beliefs are formed and they are stored in our subconscious, that programming, and they can be very limiting or they can be very empowering. But it's all what you believe. So we're going to look at these beliefs today. Which ones are limiting you? Do you limit yourself? You limit what you think you can do, what you can achieve, what your life can look like? You have to know those. You have to get into your subconscious thinking and challenge them if they're limiting you. I like to use the example of the couple that decided to move in together. And so they did. They started cohabitating. And when they did, then they got along really well. And they lived together for years. And then one day, for some reason, they decide to get married. And they get married. They're married a year, they get divorced, and they hate each other. Why is that? It's because of their belief system. They had different beliefs about what cohabitating looked like and what marriage looked like. And they get married and these beliefs kick in and it changes their thinking and their behavior, and it can mess up the whole relationship. That's how beliefs work. And they don't even know what happened. You know, I work with people and they say, I don't know what happened. And so I get them to start looking at, well, what did you believe about marriage? And the best way to challenge your beliefs or to reframe is to write. Now, a lot of people think that, well, I can just think about this, but more comes out when you write. That's the reason that it's so important, and you hear a lot to journal about what's going on. Think about what you're thinking about. Write it down, because more will come out when you write. And then you write those, go through the beliefs. What do you believe? Like rich people are evil. I won't ever save up enough money to buy a house. Men will cheat. If they knew me, they wouldn't love me. I'm not good enough. They're going to leave me. There's cognitive distortions that we use in therapy, and it's that all or nothing thinking, and that entitlement thinking. And I can't, there's about 12 of them. Maybe I need to do a YouTube video about cognitive distortions, but they drive the bus. What you believe drives your bus. And that through those beliefs is your filter. And then that's where I did a video on your inner critic. And that's where all that inner criticizing and all of that comes from, is what you believe about yourself. And that's what I want to focus on. What do you believe about yourself? And make a list of those beliefs. Write them down. And use some grace. Don't beat yourself up. Use some grace and say, okay, this is what I believe. And then, is this really true? You have to analyze that. And I like to go even deeper. And pick your top 3 limiting beliefs, and then use a daily process of replacing those beliefs. Change your thought about it with the truth and God's perspective. I really get into God's perspective and what He thinks about me and others and life in general. In this verse in Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So personal growth, spiritual growth, all of it, it comes down to renewing your mind, what you believe and what you think, because that drives your feelings. And all of that comes out in behavior. If it's in your heart, it's going to show up. You may think you're hiding it, but it will show up. And like the couple that was married, now divorced, they don't even know what happened. And people will come to me and they'll say, "I don't know what happened. My life's a mess." And what I learned through my personal growth and me developing a relationship with myself is it all comes from your belief system. Have you ever been to the circus? And they've got the big old elephants lined up. And those elephants have a rope around their leg, and that rope's attached to a stake. They're magnificent, strong animals. And that's not going to hold them there, but it does. You know why? Because they take a baby elephant and they tie its leg to an object that elephant cannot move as a baby. And they do that day after day, and he tries 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 until one day he stops, because he knows, he believes he cannot go anywhere. And for the rest of that elephant's life, when you put a rope around that leg, they will not go anywhere. Call them baby elephant beliefs. And this is what happens to us. Those beliefs are so strong. If you want to find out what you really believe, start a YouTube channel. The limiting beliefs, they just... I know when I went to college, it was a constant battle of me challenging my limiting beliefs. I'm not smart. I can't do this. I worked full-time. I went to college full-time. My youngest son was in high school. I was a single mom. And I don't know today how I did all that. I just did daily. What do I need to do today? And there was a quote that I hung on my wall. I want to share it with you. It's still on my wall in my office. And it says, "If we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves." Thomas Edison. That's amazing. And that's where I am today. I know that the person I used to be is so different than the person I am today, because I have changed my belief system about myself, about others, and about my environment. If you like what I share here, please subscribe, hit like, comment below. What beliefs do you struggle with? And most importantly, be you on purpose.